Okay, here we go. Harvest 2018 for the FFA corn plot. Leaving the driveway. Very new at this. The GoPro is a new toy for us, so bear with us, and hopefully we can tell you a little bit about the machine and what it takes to make her run. Lots of things going on. Always got to have your head on a swivel. Sorry about the screen changes. And we get going. When you go down the road with these things, you kind of do own the road. Okay, the closer we get to town, the worse it is. There's a car that's pulling out to pass me now. There they go. Now, this bridge gets a little narrow, so I've got to watch what's going on behind me. And then a couple hundred yards up the road is our driveway to go into the education plot. This is always a crowded deal right here. You got nowhere to go on a bridge. All right. Checking my mirrors, turn signal on, and making sure nobody's coming by me. And in the driveway. And here we are. So we're gonna go home and get some more machinery, make sure we've got everything here ready to go. And I'll come back tonight and open this up, get all the headlands off so it gives us a place to turn with the main field. And then we should be ready to go for the main part of the harvest with classes and whatever other students want to come out and help, learn about it, hang out, cook hot dogs, whatever it is. Hopefully we have a good weather day tomorrow. Okay, so here we are, pitch black, outside. As is normal with farming operations, got to do everything when you can. So you can't just walk into a combine and start going. There's tons of adjustments and things that have to be looked after. And the last time I used the old girl, we were doing soybeans, so there's some adjustments down in here. I don't know if you can see them. Doing my best to light it up. This is the way my life runs when it's harvest season. I'm gonna open up this front sieve a little bit. This is all part of the game plan. I gotta get the other side if I can reach it, otherwise I gotta run around to the other side. And come on, get the tool in there. And I gotta go to the other side. So that's what they call the pre-cleaner way up front. You can see hopefully you can see I'm pointing up there. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. There's all kinds of stuff going on. This is the sieve, or the chaffer, and underneath is the sieve. So there's 3 sets of screens that separate the grain from all the other junk that we don't want to keep. So now we had it set up for soybeans. Again, all being done in the dark. One might almost think I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna climb up in the cab, we're gonna light him up, get the electronics working. Okay, we have fire. I've already, correction, when I say fire, I mean obviously it started. Let's see, let's turn on some lights. Whoa, there we go.
Can you see anything?
Lights down in the front. There's our monitor. I don't know if we can read that. It's loading up the settings. There we go. We're ready to start combining here, folks. So that's getting it just set up between crops, aside from changing the head and everything. So we start the machine. Lots of looking around. Gauges, indicators, things telling me what's happening. Let's see, we can start the header. buzzers, all those lights mean something's not right, and that's a low shaft speed. It means we're not spinning everything fast enough to shut it off. Tells me if something goes wrong in the back. Okay, there we go. Everything is up and running. No lights. No idiot lights except the parking brake. Take the parking brake off. And let's see what happens when we pull into the field. My head is set kind of okay. Here's where I'm talking about. We got trees on one side, corn on the other, and my rows go that way. So we're gonna try and sneak around here without running into anything. And I'm using my mirrors a ton here, because there's a lot of stuff sticking out the back. It's hard to see. So we want to slide into these 6 rows on the outside edge if possible. Sometimes we make it, sometimes we don't. There you go, we wiggled a little bit. And we are combining corn. Where it gets boring, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. The head is a mechanical wonder. It has what we call snapping rolls on it. As the corn feeds in between those divider points, the snapping rolls are rolling against each other, almost like 2 rolling pins or like a ringer on an old style washer. And they grab the corn stalk and suck it straight down through the machine, through the head. And that snaps the ears off. And hopefully, if everything works right, all we're taking into the combine are the ears. Sometimes that doesn't work quite as good as we would like. I got an adjustment that I want to make here. We're going to tighten up the deck plates. So anyway, the snapping rolls suck the stock down through. The ear hits on the deck plates, and then there's chains that gather it up. Hopefully you can see it over there on the corner where there's less material coming in. And takes just the ears in. That goes up through the feeder house underneath my feet, and then there's a big rotating cylinder. Literally pounds the snot out of the corn cobs, rolls them up through, and rubs the kernels off the cob. The kernels all fall through the screens back there, and all the little pieces of leaf and corn stalk and corn cob all get carried out the back. Now that happens several ways. The separator, they call it, the back end of me is the separator, separates the corn from the chaff. That is shaking back and forth to kind of vibrate the material out the back. And then there's also a big fan underneath that you heard me adjust earlier, and the big fan blows air up through those screens. So what exactly happens with the corn and all the pieces of leaves and stuff that go back there? The pieces of leaf and the chaff and the little pieces of stalk and corn stalk are lighter than the kernels of corn. So the small stuff, the dust and everything, gets blown out the back end and back out onto the field. And the corn is heavy and small enough that it falls down through those screens. So a good operator is always watching and tweaking and listening. I have a radio in the machine, but I have never turned it on as long as I've owned this rig, because I can't hear what's going on. I listen to the machine and it tells me when something's happening, a different vibration, a squeal, a groan. Every book that I've ever read on combine operation says learn to listen, and that's what we're trying to do, learn to listen. So we'll have our first offload here because I'm 90% sure I can't make it around the other way. The auger swings out to the left. No trees over there that I know of. So we're going to come around here. These wagons are all parked haphazardly, so I have to be real careful. I always try and park them in a line so that I know exactly where they are. If I have to back up, we'll just drive around. There, we'll get some light on that. Check the grain door. That is closed. And there goes our grain. And we are putting corn in the wagon. Life is good. You can see how the corn, if you're looking up ahead, you can see how as you go towards the center of the field, the stalks get taller. The trees actually take up a lot of nutrients, and water takes that away from the corn, so whatever's right next to the corn, or right next to the trees, never really does that well. On top of the fact that the critters like to just stick their head out of the woods and grab a meal. Been watching the weather. Obviously farmers live for the weather, and I might get that row. There's a few ears on there, but it looks like they're mostly chewed off. Farmers live and die by the weather. So I've been watching it. We got a chance of some rain showers tomorrow late afternoon. We're hoping to be done by then. You want to go in first? All right. The little chirp that you hear?
Is that when it gets low enough?
Yep. That's a sensor that says, okay, it's time to start recording. The computer maps out where I've been. The blue shows harvested ground, and then the numbers roll off and tell me what my yield data is as I'm going across the field. Moistures, bushels per acre, and it actually separates them: bushels per acre wet, bushels per acre dry. What's that again?
How much one of these rigs go for?
This one used right now would be probably about a $30,000 machine. Used as it sits without the head.
Yeah.
Brand new, they're 300 grand.
How much is the head?
Depending on how big and whether you get chopping heads or not, they can be $60,000 to $100,000.
How much does corn even sell for?
$3.30 a bushel right now.
So a bushel is just like a cob, basically?
A bushel is 56 pounds of shelled corn. How they came up with that historically is beyond me. I have no idea. But that's what it was. So when we sell the grain, it's all by the bushel. And they weigh out the trucks when they go into the terminal, and then they divide it by 56, and that's what they pay you based on. So it ends up all being based on weight, and it's all corrected to 15% moisture. Anything over 15%, they dock you for, because they don't want to buy water weight.
Yeah.
So, and then they run into storage issues. Anything over 15% gets real marginal on how long you can store it safely without it molding. Oh, I can't even, there we go. There's a sensor in the tank, says it's full. You should see corn in the window back there. I have duct tape sealing up holes in the grain tank. They just developed this winter.
That works.
Oh, it's crazy. This thing has seen so much corn. that's about 250 bushels that we just took off. Okay, it's got an operator presence seat. As soon as I stand up, it's going to shut off the front, so I'm going to shut it off anyway, and we'll just switch places with you. Okay,
How do I lower this?
the center pedal there, and then just pull it into wherever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Okay, lift up on that switch, pull it up, and then push it forward. There you go. We're back in, and then you grab that, push the head down a little bit. There you go, and then forward into the corn. And you want to go down a little more.